What is up, Techno fam? I am super stoked. The Reavon UBR-X100 and X200 have arrived today, and I'm going to do an unboxing for you and show you a feature that they aren't even advertising and nobody else is talking about. We're going to get into it right after the jump. And I'm back. Now, first things first, before we begin, I want to give a big shout out and thank you to all my patrons on Patreon. Thank you guys so much. You guys rock. And I've got some special stuff on the way. Some good old Oro 3D content for you guys. Just stay tuned. I'm trying to figure out how we can make it so we don't hit that bandwidth limit every day, because you guys are just downloading it like crazy, which is all good. We just got to find out a system. Once that happens, it's going to be awesome. If you are looking for the best demos for Dolby Atmos, IMAX Enhanced, DTS:X, and Oro 3D, make sure you become a patron at the $5 level. Link is in the description. Become a patron today. Now, I know everyone has been waiting for these players to arrive, just like myself. They look like they're an Oppo 203 clone, so let's get into the unboxing right now. First, we're going to start off with the X100. As I open the exterior box, I noticed that this does come double boxed, which is fantastic. Opening up the second box, I am greeted with like multitudes of foam, which looks like this thing is totally protected, and I'm stoked about that. Let's open up the accessories box to see what we get. Looks like we get a remote control, batteries for the remote, and a 3-prong IEC cable. Now let's dig into this box and get the player out. I'm definitely getting that upscale feel, as it is in a bag as well. On the front of the X100, from left to right, we have a power button. In the middle, we have the large LED display and the disc tray above. And on the right, we have an eject button, your standard transport controls, and in the bottom right corner, we have a USB port. On the back of the X100, it's pretty simple. We've got a LAN port, we've got two HDMI outputs. One is your main output and one is audio only. We've got a USB 3.0 port, and we have two digital outputs. One is coaxial and one is optical. And on the far right, we have a power port and a master switch. Now, one thing I can say about the X100 is that it is pretty hefty. So it's got a bunch of weight to it. It's actually heavier than the Oppo 203, which I think is a good thing. I feel like this thing's going to last. Now let's go over and unbox the X200. Now, the only thing different on the box of the X200 is that it says it's got XLR output and 7.1 output as well. Opening up the box is almost identical. We have a whole lot of foam, and we have the accessories box, which has the same exact remote, batteries, and IEC power cable. Once we get the player out of the box, I do notice it is substantially heavier than the X100, but from the front, it looks exactly the same. Power button on the left, disc tray in the middle, LED in the middle, eject button next to that, transport controls next to them, and the bottom right has the USB port. Flipping over to the back of the X200, there are a few differences. From left to right, we do have the LAN port, the main HDMI output, the audio only HDMI output, and the USB 3.0 input. And then things start to change a little bit. To the right, we have digital audio outputs via coaxial and optical, and the X200 does add the RS-232C connection. Moving over to the right, we can see all of the analog outputs, which are not included in the X100 player. We've got a section for stereo output, right and left, XLR. There's also a left and right in RCA if you want to use the internal DACs when you're listening to 2-channel music. And to the right of that, we have a 7.1 analog output. Now, if you guys remember the video I just did comparing the Marantz SR7015 to the Denon X6700H, I did mention that the Marantz has a 7.1 analog input, and this is one of the devices in which you would use with the Marantz 7015. The 7.1 analog output from the Reavon X200 would go into all the 7.1 analog inputs on the back of the SR7015. And then on the right, we have the same power port with master power switch. Popped in the New Mutants disc just to check out to see what we're getting on the Denon as far as what's coming out of the Reavon and going into the Denon. So here we are. I press info on the Denon. Looks like we're getting Dolby Atmos, which is a good thing. And then when we go in, we see all the video aspects, 4K, 24, HDR, 12-bit, and we're getting everything we need right in here. Now, the Reavon also has an info display that will tell you about the content. So if you press info once, you get this stuff on the top, which really does look quite like the Oppos. But if you press and hold the info button, here we are, we're getting a whole lot of information about the content, video bitrate, audio bitrate, and if we scroll down, we can even see at what nit level the content was mastered at. In this case, it is mastered at 1000 nits. So this is pretty cool for those of you wanting to know that kind of information. Now at this point, you're probably wondering, well, hey, Techno Dad, like how much do these things cost and where can I get them? Well, the Reavons are being sold through Zapiti, so there's a link down in the description that'll take you to Zapiti US store, and you would buy directly from there. Now the X100 comes in at $799 and the X200 comes in at $1699. However, I do have a 10% off coupon for my viewers. That's you. That will be valid through till the end of August 2021. I know it's not a lot of time, but hey, for those of you that want to grab it, make sure to use my 10% off code, which is down in the description. Now, as you guys know, I haven't had a whole lot of time with these players, just been able to watch a couple of things. I've mainly been filming them. So if you have anything that you want me to check or test about it, you know, I'm definitely going to be testing file playback because I use a lot of files on the network. So I need to make sure all that's working if I want to replace my Oppo 203. So let me know what you want me to check and what you think about these players, the prices. Would you get one? Would you not? Let me know down in the comments below. Of course, if you have any questions, put them there as well, unless you want to hit me up on social or email, whichever you like to do. Big shout out to the folks at Zapiti for sending the X100 and X200 over for me to review. Thank you guys so much for that. And yeah, we'll see you next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Peace.
We